Vanita was the first daughter in her family. They did not have enough money for many things, not even for school. Vanita's parents died early and could not send even Vanita, who was their first child, to school. Because she was the eldest, Vanita decided to make a big sacrifice. She gave up her own dreams so that her younger brothers and sisters could go to school. She started working very hard. She did small jobs here and there, cleaning, selling things, helping people, anything to earn money. Vanita did not complain. She trusted that God would help her. And God did. Slowly, her life started to change. She began to make more money, and her small business grew. She became successful. With the money she made, Vanita sent all her siblings to school. She paid their school fees, bought their books, and made sure they had everything they needed. During these years, many men came asking for Vanita's hand in marriage. They were good men, rich, kind, successful. They saw how special Vanita was, hardworking, respectful, and full of love. Some met her through her business. Some were introduced by women she had helped. Everyone said, "This is the kind of woman a man should marry," but Vanita said no to all of them. She feared that if she got married too early, her husband might stop her from helping her family. She didn't want anyone or anything to stop her mission. So she stayed single, patiently working and taking care of her siblings. It took many years, but she succeeded. Her siblings had everything they needed. They had graduated, they had jobs, homes, and they were all successful. Vanita was proud. But she also learned something important. Sometimes, the people you help may not help you in return. Sometimes, the love you give is not the love you receive. Vanita had always been the light of her family. She gave everything she had to make sure her siblings were happy. She celebrated their wins, no matter how small. She would travel to their schools to surprise them on their birthdays. She brought cakes, gifts, and love. Even after they graduated and started working, she still remembered each birthday. She never missed a call, a message, or a prayer for them, but no one ever did the same for Vanita. She could count how many birthdays she had celebrated for herself, and they were very few. Even when she reminded them ahead of time, her own birthday came and passed like any other day. No cake. No gift. Not even a text or call. Still, she never complained. Today was her 40th birthday. A big day. A day to be celebrated. A day to be remembered, but it was silent. Morning came, and Vanita looked at her phone. Nothing. She waited. No message. No call. No knock on the door. She refreshed her phone again and again, still nothing. The day passed slowly. She sat quietly in her room, thinking. These were the same people she had given her youth for. The same ones she sacrificed marriage and comfort for. Yet, on her special day, not one of them remembered her. Her heart was heavy. She tried to smile, but the tears came. She didn't want gifts. She didn't need a big party. All she wanted was for someone to remember her, to say, "Happy birthday, Vanita." "Thank you." But no one did. Vanita sat in silence for a long time. She thought to herself, maybe they truly forgot. Maybe they were just busy. So she decided to call them, one after the other. When her younger brother, Chuka, picked up the phone, she smiled and said softly, "Hi, Chuka. Do you know what today is?" There was a short silence. Then Chuka sighed and said, "Oh, Vanita, I've just been so busy at work. I didn't check my calendar. Happy birthday." "Sorry, I forgot." Vanita thanked him and ended the call. She called her younger sister, Helen. Vanita expected something warmer, something kind. But Helen's response shocked her. "Vanita, it's just a birthday," Helen said, almost carelessly. "You're acting like it's a wedding or something." "I've had a long day." "Don't make it a big deal." Vanita felt her chest tighten. Her voice shook. "Helen, it's not about a party. It's just that I always remember yours." Helen didn't say much. The call ended with a cold goodbye. Vanita called the others, but the pattern was the same. "I forgot, I was too busy, next time, remind me earlier." No one truly cared. No one apologized from the heart. No one tried to make it right. She had celebrated them for years, carried their burdens, given up her dreams for them, but when it was her turn, they all had excuses. That night, Vanita went to bed with a deep sadness she had never felt before. It wasn't just about the birthday. It was about being forgotten, unappreciated, taken for granted. She whispered a quiet prayer to God, thanking Him for life, for strength, and for the love in her heart. She also prayed for peace, because even though her heart was broken, she knew that her kindness was never a mistake. Lying in bed that night, Vanita stared at the ceiling, lost in thought. And her heart ached in a way that was hard to explain. Then it hit her. This didn't start today, she remembered clearly. Every year, it had always been the same. The only person who consistently remembered her birthday was Juliet, her best friend since their secondary school days. Juliet would always call at midnight, singing over the phone, full of excitement and love. Sometimes she would show up with a small cake or even just a card and a hug, saying, "You're special, Vanita. You deserve everything good." Even her bank remembered. They sent her automatic birthday messages every year, those cold but polite texts that still meant more than the silence from her own family. Her family, they had never been the first to remember. Not once. Vanita always had to drop hints or remind them a day before, and even then, the messages came late and without feeling. But still, she had never forgotten any of theirs. She remembered birthdays, job interview days, graduation anniversaries, everything. She gave gifts, organized surprises, prayed over them, and made each one feel celebrated. Now, at 40, she realized just how one-sided it had all been. She felt used. Not just forgotten, but deeply unappreciated. Her sacrifices, her love, her effort, none of it had been truly seen. That night, as tears silently rolled down her cheeks, she had lived for everyone else for so long. Maybe it was time to start living for herself. 3 weeks after her lonely 40th birthday, Vanita was still hurting, though she smiled on the outside. She kept telling herself, maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe they do care, just not in the way I expect. Maybe they just need to be shown how much I need them to. So, she decided to test their love. One quiet morning, Vanita sent a message to each of her siblings. She told them she was seriously ill. She said the doctor advised that she shouldn't stay alone, that she needed close family care, help with food, movement, and daily support. She didn't give too many details, only enough to stir concern. Then she waited. That entire day, her phone barely rang, only two of them replied, late at night. They didn't call, just sent short text messages. "Oh no, sorry. I had a busy day, I hope you get better soon. Vanita, sorry to hear. Have you thought of hiring someone to help?" The next day, more replies came in, but none came in person. They all said the same thing in different words: "You're doing well financially. Just get a maid, work is crazy right now. I'd love to help but I can't take time off, try to rest and take your medicine. Let me know if there's anything money can solve." Money. Solutions. Excuses. No one said, "I'm coming." No one asked, "Do you want me there?" No one came. Vanita read every message slowly. Her hands trembled. Her eyes burned. So this is it, she thought. This is what I mean to them. A helper. A provider. A name in their phone, not a person with needs, not someone they can show up for. She had wanted to believe that love still lived in their hearts. But this test proved otherwise. The truth finally settled in her heart. They loved her for what she could give, not for who she was. That night, Vanita didn't cry. She just sat still. The pain had turned into something else: peace. A painful peace, but peace nonetheless. The kind that comes when you finally stop expecting from people who have nothing to give you. Vanita sat by the window, watching the evening sun fade into the sky. Her heart was quiet, but heavy. She thought about everything. But most of all, she thought about Juliet. Juliet had always told her the truth, gently but firmly. "Vanita," Juliet would say, "help your family, yes, but don't lose yourself in it. Take care of you too. Build your own future. You don't know what tomorrow will bring." Vanita remembered how she used to laugh those warnings off. "Juliet, my siblings would never abandon me. We've come too far together. They mean everything to me." She believed it with all her heart. She thought her love, her sacrifices, her loyalty, meant just as much to them. She believed they would stand by her as she had stood by them. She believed Raul, even the suitors, good men with kind hearts, she had turned away. Not because she didn't want love, but because she was afraid marriage would stop her from supporting her family. Juliet saw it, and many times she had begged her, "Vanita, you need to build your own life too. You deserve your own family, your own children. One day, those same people you're putting first may not be there when you need them." And today, all of Juliet's words had come true. Vanita was 40. No husband. No children. And the siblings she poured her life into had shown her how little she truly meant to them beyond what she could offer. She wasn't angry at them anymore. No, the anger had passed. What she felt now was a deep disappointment in herself, for ignoring wisdom, for not listening to Juliet, and for forgetting that her life also mattered. That evening, Vanita picked up her phone and called Juliet. When Juliet answered, her voice was warm as always. Vanita's voice trembled. "You were right, Juliet. Everything you said." "You were right?" Juliet was quiet, then replied gently, "It's not too late, Vanita. You're still here. You still have breath, and that means you still have a future." A few days later, Juliet came visiting, just as she had always done through the years. She walked in with her usual warm smile. Vanita managed a smile as she welcomed her in. They sat together in the sitting room. While the familiar comfort of their friendship wrapped around them like an old blanket, Juliet looked at her closely and said, "Venita, thank God you finally realized this. I've waited for this moment for so long." Venita looked down, her voice quiet. "I feel like I've wasted my life, Juliet. I kept believing they would be there for me. That I meant as much to them as they did to me." Juliet reached for her hand. "Listen to me," she said, her tone firm but full of love. "There's always a big difference between 'this is our own' and 'this is my own.' Your siblings are your siblings. You love them. You help them. That's beautiful, but they have their own lives to live. Their first responsibility now is to their own homes, their own dreams, their own families." She paused, watching Venita closely. "But your children, Venita. Those are your own. They are the ones who will sit by your side in old age, not your siblings. They are the ones who will know the weight of your sacrifice, the rhythm of your heartbeat. Don't throw away the chance to have your own because you've given too much to everyone else." Venita swallowed hard. The truth cut deep, but it was healing too. "Help your family when you can," Juliet continued. "But don't let your whole life revolve around them anymore. You've done more than enough. Now it's time to build your own life, your own home, your own joy." The words sank in fully. For the first time, Venita allowed herself to imagine it: a husband, children, a small home filled with laughter, birthdays that didn't go forgotten, a hand to hold when she's old. She looked at Juliet, tears in her eyes but hope in her heart. "Do you really think it's not too late for me?" she asked. Juliet smiled gently, brushing her hand. "It's never too late to choose yourself, Venita. And it's never too late to be loved." After Juliet's visit, Venita began to see life differently. She focused on herself now, her peace, her healing, her future. And every night, she prayed quietly, "Lord, have mercy on me. I know I've delayed. I know I've placed everyone else before myself. But now I'm ready. Please, don't let me wait too long." She was 40, and for the past 2 years, no man had come asking for her hand. The proposals had stopped. The calls had reduced. But her faith remained. One warm Saturday afternoon, as she was arranging some things in her room, her phone rang. It was Juliet. "Venita, can you come over to the house now?" Juliet asked with a smile in her voice. "Is everything okay?" Venita asked, a bit curious. "Yes, very okay. Just come. You understand when you get here." Venita didn't hesitate. She freshened up, put on a simple but elegant gown, and made her way to Juliet's house. When she arrived, Juliet welcomed her warmly. There was a sparkle in her eyes that made Venita curious. "What's going on?" she asked, laughing a little. Juliet smiled. "I didn't tell you earlier because I didn't want you to overthink it. One of my husband's close friends is in the sitting room. His name is Mr. Franklin. He's a successful businessman, very calm and matured. He recently told my husband that he's looking for a woman, not just a beautiful face, but someone with wisdom, strength, and value. Someone who understands life. I thought of you immediately." Venita's heart skipped. Juliet continued, "I've told him about you. He's interested in meeting you. No pressure, just a conversation. He's waiting now, for a moment." Vanita stood at the spot. A part of her wanted to retreat. What if it's too late? What if he wants someone younger? What if? But then she remembered her prayers. This could be the beginning of the answer. Okay. I'll meet him. Juliet smiled and led her to the sitting room. There, sitting calmly on the sofa, was a man in his mid-40s, well-dressed, with a gentle smile that reached his eyes. He stood as she entered. "Vanita, meet Mr. Franklin," Juliet said warmly. They exchanged greetings, shook hands, and for the first time in a very long while, Vanita felt a sense of peace in the presence of a man. They began to talk. The conversation flowed easily, about life, business, values, and dreams. Mr. Franklin wasn't just successful, he was kind, respectful, and genuinely interested in her. Vanita didn't hold back. She decided to give it a try, not out of desperation, but out of hope. Not long after Vanita met Mr. Franklin, love bloomed like a garden in spring. He saw in her what he prayed for: her strength, her loyalty, her heart of gold. Vanita, once guarded and unsure, allowed herself to feel again. She laughed more, smiled deeper, and slowly began to see herself as worthy. They courted with intention. Mr. Franklin made it clear he wasn't looking for perfection, youth, or degrees. He wanted peace, maturity, and a partner to build the future with. Vanita gave him that, and more. Soon, they decided to marry. The day Mr. Franklin came to officially settle with Vanita's family, she sent messages to all her siblings. She invited them with a heart still open, still hopeful, because no matter what had happened, they are family and she still wanted them to be part of her joy. When her siblings arrived and saw the man Vanita was about to marry, tall, polished, successful, and deeply respectful, they were stunned. Some smiled politely, others were quietly surprised. They were happy Vanita was finally getting married. They had thought it would be difficult for her to get married at 40. But God is not man. Vanita thought getting pregnant and birthing children at her age would be difficult, but just 1 year into her marriage, she had twin boys. She and her husband couldn't contain their joy.